Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm reacting to The Practice of Giving with subtitles Tsem. So I saw this, I was like, hmm, don't really know if I have too much to say about this. I mean, you know, give if you can and if you want. You know your financial situation, whether you can or cannot give, you know. And, another thing is the sheer fact that make sure that the person that you're giving to isn't scamming you. Because there are people out there who aren't poor, who aren't really needing any help, but they'll go out there and beg because it's just easy money, I guess. You use people's sympathies and stuff. Anyways, let's go and get started.
Likewise, when you offer up jewels to the Buddha, on the lowest motivation, you will collect wealth. On a middling motivation, you'll collect wealth and peace of mind. On a higher, for many lifetimes, on the highest motivation, wealth, peace of mind, no attachment to it, so it doesn't create negativity. At the same time, you will use your wealth to help others. You look at people in this life, people have wealth. I'm not talking about billions. It can be, they make good money, a good salary. Some people, the more they make, the more negative things they do. Some people, the more money they have, the more it gives them the freedom to do negative, nasty things. And then they want more, so they can do more. But they say it's Dharma, but it's not Dharma. They say that they're being good. They talk about charities, about giving. They give very little charities. They spend more on their own self. They're the most neediest person in the world. So some people who have wealth, they use it to increase their negativity, use it to increase their arrogance, use it to increase their wastage, and use it to increase to overpower other people. Some people who have wealth, they totally use it to benefit others. They totally use it to help others. And the more wealth they have, they're more capable to help and use and benefit others. Because it isn't just teaching Dharma. People need food. People need livelihood. People need a car. People need a house. People need education. People need, medication. So a high practitioner who has great amount of wealth, the wealth doesn't help them to go to hell. The wealth helps them to benefit people much, much more. Because they're a personage. They're a Rinpoche, they're a Lama, they're somebody. So they have all this wealth and it looks good. Why? It comes as a result of their practice. One, two, they're able to help more. And if that person helps more, they inspire hundreds of people to do more Dharma. Because they'll look at that person and say, see, he practices Dharma. He's a priest, he's a Lama, he's a monk, he's a Rinpoche, whatever. And he has all this wealth. And when he gives it, it has a very big impact on people. Why? Because he's supposed to denote what he's doing, giving charity. So in that way, by giving, that's why in Tibet we have a very big way of sponsoring lamas. Lamas, everybody crowds to sponsor, and they don't look at it. They sponsor and help because high lamas like Dalai Lama, Panchen Lama, they come back every single lifetime. They're the wealthiest people on the earth. They own palaces, but they never go to hell. Why? They're not attached to it, and they use it to benefit others. So when a lama has wealth, and a lama has it at his disposal, her disposal, and they will definitely know what to do it for, and they will use it. And you give them the freedom to do that. And when you do that, initially for normal beings, they're attracted to that because they say, oh, this person's very kind. They're very nice. Definitely real lamas will use their wealth and they give it away, usually. And you shouldn't be attached. You say, oh, God, I give them this, they give it away. I give them this, I give it away. No. You should rejoice because why? When they give it away and when I give it away, there's a big difference. When Dalai Lama gives something away, wow. When I give it away, oh, thank you very much. Can I have more? Because I'm not attained, I'm a normal person. But since I bought my name, so might as well live it up. So when you sponsor a lama, in our tradition, that's what I did with my gurus. There's no limit. I don't count, I don't look, I don't check. I just offer. And I don't care because I know what they'll do with it. And they definitely do wonderful things with it. And when they do it, it has a bigger effect on people. It spreads Buddhism even more. It spreads it much, much more. Why? Because people can see the state of the mind by generosity first. By giving first. If you're a miserly, ungenerous person, it shows your state of mind. Don't talk about compassion, altruism when you can't even give. When you're calculative, when you go to eat with people, you wait there when the bill comes, you sit there and, oh, thank you very much. It shows you who you are. Why? Don't try to be spiritual if you can't even on a basic level share and give. And you're calculative. What kind of spirituality is that? So don't talk about altruism and bodhisattva and you want to be a Buddha and you want to float on a cloud and carry a lotus everywhere and you can dispel spirits with just a hand gesture. Don't talk about that. You can use another hand gesture. You mean taking money out of your wallet to pay and help another person. Isn't that a wonderful hand gesture? And everybody in the world respects that. Why? A generous mind denotes kindness. Kindness denotes spirituality. Then your practice is going somewhere and you're inspiring people. If you're a stingy little monster, you don't inspire anybody. In fact, people stay away from you more and more. And if you represent Buddhism, you're like that, you're not going anywhere with your practice, not because the practice is wrong, because you're not practicing. And you leave a very bad taste around people around you. Why they, ooh, like that, like that. Where is there such thing as a stingy spiritual person? Where God? Where God? Stingy spiritual person. Where God? Because it's conflicting. Where God? So if we want to be spiritual, we have to start first giving. Of course, you don't give your, okay, Rimji says, I got to give. So every time you get your paycheck, you give everything. You're living on the street in a tent in front of my house here. No, thank you. Practical. Practical. But give and help. And never fight with people about money. Never argue about money. And never accuse people of money. Never talk and do things with money. Never. Why should you never fight about money? You can't take with you. But the fighting and the karma you receive, you can take with you. Never fight and never curse and never force and never be manipulative with money. Money is a means to help you in your practice and life. It is not the end in itself. So if you treasure money more than Buddha, more than your life, more than karma, you're silly. Why? You can't take money with you. You can't take it with you. So if you think you can take it with you, show me one person who has. Open, why do you think they raided the tombs of Egypt, the pyramids and all that? Because the kings, the pharaohs took all their money with them to where? Pretty heavy.
I was gonna rewind a little bit on this part. Actually, it's right here. So he talks about, but they never go to hell. So 532. Let me rewind real quick.
They come back every single lifetime. They're the wealthiest people on the earth. They own palaces, but they never go to hell. Why? They're not attached to it, and they use it to benefit others.
They're the wealthiest people on earth. They come back many times. They never go to hell.
People on the earth. They own palaces, but they never go to hell. Why? They're not attached to it, and they use it to benefit others. Earth. Way of sponsoring lamas. Lamas, everybody crowds to sponsor, and they don't look at it. They sponsor and sponsor and help because high lamas like Dalai Lama, Panchen Lama, they come back every single lifetime. They're the wealthiest people on the earth.
So they come back every single lifetime and are the wealthiest people on earth? Am I hearing that correctly? Oh, here we go.
Treasure money more than Buddha, more than your life, more than karma, you're silly. Why? You can't take money with you. You can't take it with you. So if you think you can take it with you, show me one person who has.
And that's kind of the confusing thing. I'm assuming, of course, you can't take money with you in the afterlife. But I'm guessing, like, how are, these lamas, I suppose, keep coming back and yet they're rich? I'm sure he's probably, I don't know, misexplaining that somehow. Or maybe, I guess because of their status in the past life, that even in their current life, or in their past lives, that in their current life will develop wealth again anyway. To become rich again, I suppose. As opposed to this wealth following them through life in some weird way, but more along the lines that their wealth will grow again, I suppose.
Why do you think they raided the tombs of Egypt, the pyramids and all that? Because the kings, the pharaohs took all their money with them to where? Pretty heavy luggage. You can't. You can't even take one single hair on your head if you have any hair left. You can't. So why the attachment? And if you really believe in Buddha, go all the way. If you give, you will receive. As Jesus said, God takes care of even sparrows and the little birds for their daily sustenance, water. Aren't you much greater than them? Don't you think God will take care of you if you believe? Similarly, in Buddhism, if you give, you collect the merits of giving with good motivation, and you will always get. You will always get. It will take some time. It depends on your motivation. Definitely you will get. I've seen practitioners like that, a few years later, huge difference. And they're not even attached. I've seen it many times. So when we take care of our gurus, we help through him to take care of many people to spread Dharma on a very outer physical level. When we give and take care of people around us, the best of our ability, when we do that, it creates less negative karma. Do you know that if we don't spend and we keep the money and it's the wrong motivation, let me tell you something. This is a little shocking. Every day you keep that money, you're collecting negative karma. You're collecting karma to become a spirit. Why? You're not saving the money. You're using excuses. I'm frugal, I'm careful, I don't have anything. But actually, if it's attachment and you're miserly and you're calculative and you keep that money, every single day you have that money, it creates attachment and it strengthens your negative habits. And you cannot collect any merit. So in the future, you'll be very, very poverty-stricken. And even if you have money, you'll be poverty-stricken because you're not able to spend. I know very wealthy people who's not able to spend anything and live as if they're poor. They live as they're really poor because they can't spend. Why? They create the causes to be poor. So that's very important. If we want to practice, we need to be generous as much as possible and start. Start with each other, with our friends, and not be calculative. Never be calculative with that. Never wait for the other person to pay for you. Never. Never wait for the other person to pay. Never wait for the other. Always try to help. Don't even look. And you're not, Chinese, when they pay, it's like, oh, I'm the big lao ban la. And you don't let them pay, they feel like, oh, you insulted them. Not in Buddhist thought. Buddhist thought is when you pay, you're not trying to be big lao ban. You're being humble and you're serving others. And they give you a chance to collect merit. But of course, it's just some schmuck around you always trying to take advantage of you. You let him pay himself. You don't have to practice generosity because your practice of generosity helps him to become more evil. So you have to use skillful means. A, your motivation. People can have hard times. People can get depressed. People maybe be able, but their mind is unable. And they're depressed, they lived on the streets. Example, when I was 15, I lived on the streets. I was young, I was strong, I was able-bodied. I lived on the streets because I ran away. I had parents that abused me, and I lived on the streets, and I had to beg. And people looked down on me, exactly what you just said. But it wasn't that. It was that I was very depressed, I was very unhappy, I wanted to die. And I didn't care anymore. I didn't care if I was clean or not, I just slept outside. So there are people like that, and there are people who are just basically lazy. But the thing is, lazy, good or bad, everybody needs to eat. So what I do is when I see people that I feel that they can do something they don't, you know what I do? I go out of my way, I buy them food, I give it to them. I've done that many times. So there's no money. Or sometimes if I'm doubtful, I go, would you like some food? If they say no, I already know and I go away. If they say yes, I go buy food and I bring it to them. And sometimes if I see a mother with kids and I can tell that it's maybe the husband died or something, then I buy a lot of food and I offer it to them. Why? Good or bad, everybody needs to eat. Even that person, the total sleaze bag, he still needs to eat. So you, by generating compassion to fill his stomach, nobody should be hungry. It's still good. So I use skillful means, meaning what? I look and I see. I ask, because I've had bad experiences where I buy food, I buy all this stuff, I bring it, when I give them, they run. They're crazy, they run. And I go, oh no, what am I going to do with all this food? And I can't eat it because it'll make me fat. And I bought it specifically for them. And there are cases where I ask them, like there's a guy in Sea Park Clinic outside. He's having problems with his kids, they don't take care of him, and he sleeps outside. He's a very nice man, a gentleman, older, a gentleman. I always see him outside the clinic. Whenever I go there, when I see my students or my friends go there, I tell them feed him. Because I always say, sir, are you hungry? Would you like some food? He says, thank you very much. He's very kind. So I always go across the street, I buy things from wherever, and I pack it up and I bring it, I offer in two hands. He says, you're a very nice young man. He says, what's your name? And I tell him, and he says, thank you very much. Very kind. And one time I had someone ask him very politely, may I ask you why you're here? Because it doesn't look like so. He says, I'm having a problem with my children and we don't get along. And the house is small, so I sleep here during the night, so I don't have to hear anything. And I went, oh. So I just feed him. And then sometimes I give him money. I just give him money because they need to eat tomorrow. And there are places where I know there's a good restaurant I trust. I usually give money to them to feed these people for a few weeks. I've done that many times because good or bad, people need to eat. That's it. We don't need to judge at that moment. Just because they're bad doesn't mean we should let them go hungry. They need to eat. So my motivation toward beggars, is that they're doing me a favor. Because they show me my state of mind, how much I will give. And there are times I don't have money. There are many times I bought fabulous food. I packed and I'm going to go home and enjoy myself with a DVD. And on the way, I'm like, oh, I give it. Why? Because when I go home, I'm going to do my mantras, and I want to do it with a clear conscience that I did something. So sometimes they do more for you than them, and I'm not being diplomatic. They do because they help you check your state of mind. The bottom line is benefit as much as we can without judgment, because everybody needs to be free of cold, of rain, of heat, and of hunger. Everybody needs that, even spirits. Everybody. So if we want to be spiritual, it doesn't come from mantras and chakras. It comes from the generation of a kind heart, starting from everyday situations around us. A beggar. There are beggars I totally reject because I know they're not. And I know they're violent, and they slip into Mercedes when they're done begging. Okay, but anyway, if that happens, you still say, never mind. You've given with the right intention, so your giving is not wasted because you still collect the merit. So in the future, when you need help, you will receive it. You will receive it. Giving, you never lose. And I've been cheated before. Oh, lots. I've been cheated left and right. I don't generate anger to people who cheat me. Like I said, you check the situation. Because it's better to take a chance and try to help. Because if you keep judging, maybe in the future when someone needs help, you don't know that and you don't help. So it's better to take a chance and lose than not take a chance and someone else loses. But you use your judgment. Like I said, if you feel you're empowering them, they still need to eat what? Buy them food. I always do that. I always run for an AM, PM, whatever, and buy food. I love it. So if you think you're empowering them, don't give them money. Ask them if they want food. If they don't want food, okay, bye-bye. You try. You know,
I think that's a better option, honestly, than giving them money, food, or drink.
ask them if they want food. If they don't want food, okay, bye-bye. You try. If you see that they need money and that, I don't know, you just take a look. Because I always observe them. You give them money. And the way they take it, the way they accept it, the way they do it, you can tell if they really need it or not. Even if you lose out, never mind, lose out. But you don't lose because you're kind. You're kind. And don't give generously when your friends are around, so you're going to impress everybody. And when nobody's around, buzz off. Give quietly. The best form of giving is not letting people know. When we advertise what we give to our lamas, to the temple, to the church, to the synagogue, and to the mosque, when we advertise to people around us when we give, it's okay, and it might be a good example, but sometimes it takes away from our merit because it might be feeding something that it's not supposed to feed.
And actually, that's what I was thinking of when he said he usually gives and everything. You saw him giving all these foods and stuff. It's kind of like I think there was a time when YouTube there's a lot of people who are doing this exact same thing where they're giving money or food and I forgot what it's called. It's like an exploitation where you see these people giving money to or food to these homeless people, but they record it. You know, there's a couple of things you can say to that. One, it is exploiting them, maybe. I mean, probably. At the same time, the money that you make off those videos, you can always just give back again, you know? So the more money those videos make, the more money you can give to this homeless potentially, or maybe you're just keeping it all for yourself. Spending $5 on this homeless person makes you $100,000, you know? I don't know. And that's the kind of the issue with whenever you when you record yourself doing these good deeds, like you were saying right here. I'm sure there's quite a few YouTubers who have done that. Spend $10 to feed this person so they can make $100,000 on the video. And it's not because they're trying to be a good deed, it's because it's, viral video or whatever. It's kind of spoiled whenever you watch people do good deeds, especially if it's recorded. Like, that's a little bit suspicious. How do you have a camera here? It's like, do you like record me? I'm about to go buy food and give it to that person. So record me so there's proof, kind of deal. Which is what they showed earlier with him. He was talking about how you don't show it. Yeah, but he did show it to prove that he did it. And that's kind of another issue is the fact that there are people out there who says, well, video it or it didn't happen kind of deal. And when you video and you show, it's like, well, you're trying to prove something, so it's like a lose either way. I mean, it could be I don't know. It's just either way, it's kind of like a lose because one, you recorded it and trying to show it off. Two, it could be genuinely good intention where the money that a video makes, you say, hey, look, the money that this videos make, I obviously have to keep some for myself. I still have to make money, but majority of it's going to be going to helping, people in need. I think that's fair enough. You're making this videos, you're putting time and effort into what you're doing, so giving you a salary, I think it's okay, but it has to be within reasonable kind of thing. But I don't know. There's a lot of things you can say about people who do this kind of things where to record it and make money off of it, and whether they're truthful to their word or not, whether they don't keep it all for themselves, but maybe actually use that money to help more people. Who knows?
So the best form of giving is humility, not letting people know quietly. That's a practice at first that our lamas try to help us with, to give quietly and silently. And then eventually the lamas reveal why. When we reach a state where that giving doesn't create more attachment and ego and arrogance, reveal. So there's many, many ways. Skillfulness and wisdom, altruism. Okay?
Let me brag here for a second. I did do kind of what he said, where I mean, we were still poor, but me and a friend, we went to Taco Bell, and I saw this guy come up, and he looked kind of homeless. He did look like he bought a meal, and I asked the register, is that guy homeless? And he said, yeah. I'm assuming he hangs out there, and whenever he gets enough money, he buys some food. So I told the cashier, it's like, let me add to this meal. I'll pay for it here. I didn't tell the guy. I did everything. I paid for it. And when my stuff was ready, I grabbed my stuff and I headed to my car. I sat in my car and I looked. I just watched. I just wanted to make sure that he got his meal and stuff. I couldn't verify it, but it looked like whenever he went up to grab his meal that he kind of just sat there for a little bit. Like I don't know whether he was looking like wondering why he got more stuff, or whether they told him, hold up, there's more for you. You know, we sat there for a couple of minutes. He never came out. The guy that I paid the meal for. I didn't want him to know that I did it. Now I'm telling you this. Did I really do this? I didn't record it. Am I lying right now? We don't know. If I recorded and I showed it in the video, then I'm kind of doing what he was saying at towards the end there, where I'm like bragging about it. But with me speaking it, there's no proof that it has happened. I guess the only proof would be the friend that was there with me. But then again, he could be lying too. So, it's kind of I don't know what you say, like a lose-lose potentially, win-win, lose-lose, depending on the person that you're talking to about it. Like, maybe they will believe the video and think that's a good thing, a great example to other people. It's like, hey, look, this person did it, and here's the proof to it. Other people say, nah, he's just using that to make money. Anyways, that's my reaction to the practice of giving. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, the stand down below. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next vid.